Hey everybody, and welcome back to ContinueQuest. I'm Paul.
I'm Nick.
I'm Jen.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it.
I love it.
We're gonna get to hear the caddy voice.
Oh yeah.
I've been waiting a whole week.
Oh, I'm just gonna stretch so nice and relaxed for when you do
Nice and chill.
Because it's a very chill voice.
So we went on a date with Nick,
with Nick and Josh, got
Josh.
Mexican food and
Got
cheesecake.
fought the whole
and
time.
it was awkward.
Who goes to a Mexican place and gets cheesecake?
The Mexican
Nick.
cheesecake?
Maybe there is,
It's probably
Maybe.
cinnamon on it,
but there's better stuff like fried ice cream.
At
right?
a Thai place?
No, I had a Mexican place that's fried ice cream.
Oh, okay.
It's delicious. You ever
Yeah.
have it?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
The only time I had it, it was just ice cream rolled in cornflakes.
Yeah, which is not the appropriate way to make
It was.
it.
It made me really sad, and I've never ordered fried ice cream again. Do you know what they also would probably have? Motherfucking Tres
Churros
Leches.
or Tres.
Yeah, Tres Leches.
3 milks
Tres Leches
Yeah.
is kind of like the cheesecake of cakes.
of Mexican cakes.
Of cakes.
Of cakes.
Of
Okay,
cakes.
Because cheesecake technically not a cake.
it's a milk cake.
Yeah, Tres
3
Leches
milks.
is a very moist,
3 milks.
milky cake.
Yeah,
Milk.
yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, cheesecake
Milk.
is just like icing cake.
Yeah, cheesecake is like not. There's no cake there.
Yeah.
It's delicious though.
It's a lie to call it
I
cake.
love it, dude.
I do
love
like Tres
cheesecake.
Leches more though.
It's damn good.
No, I'll take
All
cheesecake
3.
any day.
Oh, cheesecake. A trembling caddy stood in front of me, cradling something shiny in his arms.
You okay? You don't look so great.
Hana, please don't tell anyone about this.
Confused, I drew closer to him. The objects becoming clearer as I did.
Don't worry. I'm out after curfew too, so I would also.
I stopped. The objects in Caddy's arms stood out to me in sharp relief. Caddy was holding guns.
What?
I stared at him, not daring to move.
It's not really what it looks like. I use them for... I'm not gonna hurt anyone with them. I only hurt games with them.
What games?
Yeah, it's really good. If it's really good, I send it floating to heaven. And if it's absolute shit... Oh, shit, he said shit. I torture it with a laser. It's not...
You have guns with which you use to shoot video games?
I know. It sounds weird. But it really cements me in what I've done with it. Now we can part ways and both move on with our lives. It's a form of closure. Look, you don't have to understand, but I ask that you at least don't report it. I swear. Absolutely, I swear. I'll not use these on any living creature. So help me God.
I stared at the
I
guns.
can't take it seriously.
I can't. I'm like drifting in and out.
Something dimly flickering in the back of my mind. If I wanted to, I could use this against Jeff's campaign, couldn't I? We wouldn't have to worry about campaigning. Paul would definitely win, and nobody but Caddy and I would know who spilled the beans. An easy win for Paul, an easy win for the tournament. Was there even a reason not to? Oh,
Forget you saw anything.
You doing
man.
that?
That's fucked up. Yeah.
All right, you're nice. I took a slow, deep breath.
I'm going to pretend I didn't see anything, okay?
Whoa, dude. Is that
Mm-hmm.
really?
In the meantime, you're going to toss those somewhere safe, preferably the Pacific Ocean. If I see them again, you're going to be in such hot water you won't even feel your skin peeling
I
off.
forgot we were in Japan because I was gonna be like,
Got it?
Like,
Sorry.
whoa.
I was gonna. He's got to go
He's
all the
gonna throw
way
it far.
because he's deep in the Atlantic.
Yeah. That's
Deep.
like manifest destiny at that point.
Mm-hmm.
That's bloody graphic, Hana.
It's a Marco Polo shit, is what it is.
Yeah, it is.
Got it?
Right. I got it.
I got it.
Got it.
Thanks again, Hana. You won't regret this.
I nodded happily. Caddy couldn't harm a fly on a person's head. I had no
Dude,
doubts
gun on
about
school,
that.
man, that's like...
Yeah.
That's like out of school suspension. That's like expulsion.
Yeah, you're not even getting fucked.
No, yeah.
Yeah, you're not getting fucked
No,
ISS.
no, not at ISS.
Even if those guns glinting in the lamplight were the scariest thing I'd ever seen, I hoped my faith wouldn't go unfulfilled. As I reached the fork between Primrose and Bluebell, I heard another rustling somewhere behind me and again whirled around.
Who's
It's
there
Paul
this time?
Spying on you.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it.
And look, he's in his sexy sweater.
My sexy sweater.
Damn.
To my immense surprise, Paul stood, body half in and half out of one of the Asagao's manicured bushes, a styrofoam box not all that different from mine in his hands.
Paul.
Paul?
It's not what it looks like. I wasn't following you. I just had a sudden hankering for a burrito, that's all.
A Hana
Dot,
burrito.
Dot.
Hanarito, dot, dot, dot. Well, I'm off. Busy day tomorrow with the election and all. Have a good sleep. Don't get injured. Eat your veggies and all that.
Yeah, it's totally
they
something
got
Paul
you.
said.
They got you down.
Yeah, nailed
Real
it.
good.
Paul jumped back into the hedgerow. Slowly, the rustling and trembling of the bushes faded away as Paul headed for Bluebell House.
I guess he just really didn't want to get caught. Dot, dot, dot.
No, it was better not to think about it much. I had bigger things on my mind.
Dude, I think that's my favorite joke out of this whole series.
It's the dot, dot, dot.
Like, you know that's going to wind up in a sketch.
It better. The sun had barely risen that morning, the day of election speeches. I changed clothes hastily, heart in my throat. The election speeches would be hanging in the theater, which Asagao apparently used as an auditorium. It wasn't a mandatory attendance type of thing, and given the early hour of the speeches, so they wouldn't interfere with classes, I had a feeling only the students who cared most would show up. But then the students who cared most were our core audience. They were the hardest to sway once they settled on a candidate. They were the ones who were actually going to bother to vote and whose opinions would be sought when the day came.
And you had taken the swing dorms into effect.
The swing dorms, yeah. And the absentee dorms, too.
Yeah, absentee dorms, yep. Transfer students.
Transfer students. They take a while to get their voting card, though.
Yeah.
Which I think is suppression. Oops. It was important for Paul to win them to his side, but he was trading on faith. Faith that wasn't so steadfast after last year. As I crept to the stage, Jeff raised a cheery hand towards me.
Ouch.
You're trumping him. That's right.
I forgot about
I
that.
stepped past him and up to Paul, who was sitting in a chair, head in his hands. I don't know. I tweaked the speech so many times, but I don't know if it's going to make an impact that I want. I glanced around. Nick and Josh were nowhere to be found. Seeing my wandering eyes, Paul sighed. I told them to come later. I wanted plants in the audience to laugh at my jokes, just in case.
That's not the worst idea you've had.
I put a hand on his shoulder and then, after a moment's hesitation, began to massage them like I was pumping up a boxer.
You put so much work into this. At this point, if it doesn't work out, there's nothing you can do. It's just how it was supposed to go.
But I want it to go my way.
Classic Paul.
I peered into his face. There were dark bags under his eyes, like always. It looked like he hadn't slept a wink. And yet he had his precious time
It was
to
a
eat.
quicker one than that.
And yet he used this. And yet he used his precious time to eat out last night, and then follow me home in the bushes. I chuckled softly.
You do everything 100%, don't you?
Keep it 100.
I try. If you give everything your best shot, you'll have no regrets in the end.
That's a lot of pressure. Can't you cut yourself some slack?
He shook his head fervently, then suppressed a yawn. People deserve the best of me. I deserve the best of me, too.
You don't owe anybody anything.
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
It's not about debt, it's about responsibility.
Damn.
He reached up and put a hand over mine. I froze. He smiled up at me. Hana. Thanks, Hana.
No, for what?
I'm glad that after everything that's happened, I still know I can count on you. I slipped my hand from under his and clamped them behind my back.
Yep. People are going to be coming in a second. Do you want me in the audience or...
Please. I'd like to mentally prepare myself.
Please, stop talking.
Yeah, I don't fucking care where you go.
I nodded and headed into the
Just
audience
leave me the fuck alone.
to find myself a good seat.
Make a decision and stick with it.
Yeah.
That's what I want. As I passed, Jeff and Ian paused to watch me go. Their eyes followed me into my seat, and I waved happily at them. I definitely deserved that. The room slowly filled with more people than I imagined. As I scanned the crowd, noticing girls with their heads buried together, comparing notes on Jeff and Paul's platforms, and boys arguing about who would win a sword fight, I started to think Paul was right. The election was closer than I anticipated. Should I have worked harder to help him? We got so little done in that amount of time that I almost wanted to go back and strangle myself for not working harder when I had the chance. In a distant corner, Nick's head bounced around. Josh was in the other corner, arms over the back of the empty chair next to him. No one even bothered to ask him whether they could take it. Finally, it was time for them to deliver their speeches.
Here it comes.
Paul's was first, and he took the stage to cheers from the students around him. I gave him a thumbs up, and he grinned when he found me in the crowd. Without taking his eyes off me, he pulled out his notes and began to orate. Students, my fellow Asagao students, it is I, your current standing president, Paul Ritchey.
Yeah. Oh,
The crowd
actually, he's
cheered,
really
and I
good.
smiled
I
at
like
him.
what he has to say.
And he reflexively smiled back. The time has come to choose who is worthy of being your next class president. As might be expected, I am hoping to have a second term. This is a responsibility you must take very seriously, and I would hope that. He wasn't looking away. Why wasn't he looking away from me? Badass with a leather jacket and a steel-tinted smile. He was just staring at me, dead staring at me from across the room like a stalker. I remembered the bushes and wondered whether that was more true than I thought. Must rise up, and seek justice. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. It was hard to concentrate on his speech. So intense was his gaze, so furiously and passionately he was speaking. I had a dream once. I dreamed of proper funding for club activities. Rather than having to depend on our parents for even more of our livelihoods, people call us spoiled, and why should we let them be correct?
Damn, you're good, dude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And even if his words weren't reaching me, his feelings were. Paul's sincerity came across in everything he did, from the look in his still staring eyes to the way he flung his arms out to the fact that he was no longer even using his notes. A loud laugh came from the left of me, and I realized Paul made his joke. Rippling giggles floated through the audience, and Paul smiled. What?
That was me.
Was that your laugh?
There, yeah.
So I say to you, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. Today, we celebrate our independence from Asagao's frankly horrible club budgeting, fundraising, and exploitative system. Today, we celebrate our financial independence. Paul flung his note cards across the stage with a flourish, and the crowd stood
I like that
with
guy.
roaring
I like what
approval.
he said.
Good
He said
reference.
good things. He said good things.
I jumped up and punched the air, and Paul pointed at me
Paul
and gave me a
Ritchey.
thumbs up.
Paul Ritchey.
He nailed it. As he headed backstage, passing Jeff on his way, his shoulders slumped, the energy left him. His lack of sleep from the night before, probably several nights before, finally caught up to him. I crept out of my seat and along the aisle as Jeff took his position on stage, script in hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you an idea for consideration, the Galactic Empire.
That opening line almost made me want to stay and listen to the rest of his speech, but Paul needed me. I ducked backstage.
Paul?
Paul was lying flat on the ground, hand over his eyes. I ran to his side.
Oh my god, Paul, are you okay? Are you sick? Did you overwork yourself? You stupid.
Paul waved a hand. I'm fine, I'm just processing. I heaved a sigh of relief.
You did it. You had a great speech.
Did I? I don't remember much about it. Did people laugh?
They did.
Did people clap?
A standing ovation.
Sick.
Sick.
Paul had a slow, deep breath. I watched him carefully.
Here.
I patted my lap. Paul moved his hand. What?
You're tired, aren't you? The floor is no place for a nap.
I tried to make it sound no nonsense, like Paul's head in my lap was of absolutely no consequence to me, but the heat in my face told me I didn't succeed. Da, da, da. He stared at me for a few seconds, the moment so long I was about ready to turn tail when he scooted across the floor and laid his head in my lap.
Dat, dat, dat.
Dot, dot, dot. You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Are you comfortable?
A small smile crossed his lips. Very.
He's sleeping. Shh.
We stayed like that for a while. I ran my hands gently through his hair, giving him what I hope was a relaxing scalp massage.
While sleeping.
It's actually what he does in his sleep.
Mhm. Eventually, Paul's breathing leveled, and I realized he had fallen asleep. It was nice. But oh my god, were my legs cramping.
That's great.
Eventually, thunderous applause rang out on stage, and I knew Jeff's speech was over. I nudged Paul awake, and he rose, a drunk little kitten after a nap by the fire. How long was I out?
You're good. Jeff just ended. Class will start soon.
Paul nodded, clearly not currently a part of this world. Thank you.
No problem.
Paul grabbed me around the shoulders and pulled me into a hug, burying his face into the side of my neck. You're great.
Wait, you're not drunk, are you?
Paul sighed contentedly, and I gently peeled his hands from around me.
We have to go to class.
And we're not dating, remember? You basically turned me down. I thought it, but I didn't say it. He didn't need more stress, not with the tournament and election literally in the next 2 days. But part of me was a little upset. Just because he knew I felt that way about him, he thought it was okay to exploit it? He really has the best of intentions. If you can believe in that, you will overcome everything. Actually, you know what? Decent stopping point. It's okay. Be right back. And we're back. Whew, that was a hefty 15 minutes right
It
there.
was, man. That got
a lot of
intense.
stuff happened.
Yeah. Mr. Saitama's voice floated in across the backstage speakers, and I jumped. Something wrong?
No.
I stood and dusted off my skirt.
Let's go to class then.
He nodded sleepily. Let's. No meeting today either. We'll be practicing for the tournament. Finally.
You guys, we'll try again. It's supposed to do it at the
We
same
can try
time.
it. Ready? Finally.
Not bad.
I giggled and Paul smiled.
It's funny because I did giggle.
Mm-hmm.
And you did smile.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
I'll see you tomorrow then.
The first time I got distracted because the cat jumped up here.
Yeah. He held up a fist to me. Good luck.
Bump it.
Who's
Bump,
bumping?
bump, bump, bump.
Oh, no.
I woke the next morning, eyes scratchy and head spinning. Apparently the stress of the day before took its toll. I felt almost sick as I put on my uniform and tried to talk myself down. Sure, I hadn't prepared at all, but I could still win, right? Strategy as always, right? I stepped out into the fresh spring air, taking a deep breath. My event was one of the first, so I had to be there earlier than most. I set my shoulders and started across campus.
Yes.
Yeah, dope. The arcade. What?
Arcade time.
Yeah,
I
it's
wanna
a
go
dope
that
ass
arcade.
arcade. Look at that. I want to play that
Yeah.
one right there.
Yeah, that was a driving game.
Drivey game. The arcade at which the tournament was being held was much smaller than I expected. Okay, jeez, judgmental.
Yeah, wow.
Corey.
Yeah. Wait, what did you say?
How many
I
arcades
said
you been
Corey.
in? Yeah.
Pori,
Yeah.
yeah, you
How many
Pori.
arcades you been in?
Yeah.
Corey?
You've been in it for. You got to hang out for free. Did you play the free game where you
Yeah.
watch other people play
Watch
games?
other
Pori.
people play. Yeah, exactly.
Felt
Costs
like I'd.
money to play games.
Yeah, sure. Felt like I'd probably gone to the penny arcade maybe.
Bam.
Felt like I'd find some kind of convention. But instead it was a small local arcade filled with machines. Smaller rooms split off, which were probably where the individual competitions would take place throughout the day. A few people milled about the space, generally older folk in their 20s and 30s. I glanced at the agenda in my hand and made my way to one of the back rooms. When I entered the competition room, I found 2 chairs on an elevated platform, a computer and a projector sitting between them. Ian sat in one of the chairs, looking bored out of his mind.
Ian.
It's about time you showed up. I was starting to get worried you died.
Oh, wow.
Aw. Sweet of you to be concerned.
Is it?
Yeah.
I got into the chair next to him. A man came over to me to check my name and club affiliation. I said I was a member of the Normal Boots Club, a small surge of pride making me sit up straight as I did. There were chairs lined up for people to watch us compete, and to my surprise, the entire room soon filled. I searched the crowd to find the guys. They were there! They came to support me, all of them. I smiled, excitement flooding through me, and then was struck with terror. There was nothing like the threat of failing in front of all the people you cared about. As I stared worriedly into the crowd, a blur of movement caught my eye. Waleed was sitting with the rest of the Hidden Block Club, beaming at me. When he saw me looking, he waved enthusiastically. Ian rolled his eyes. Would it kill for you to root for your own teammate? I giggled. Finally, the lights around us dimmed and the projector started up. The main menu of Dumbadoom's Revenge on screen. It was time to start.
Time to start.
As the MC began his introduction and explained the rules of the game, Ian turned to me, a smirk on his face. Sure you're ready for this?
Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't feel at all confident.
Ready to go?
The man turned to us. Ian nodded while I squeaked.
Then 3, 2, 1, start!
The game began. I immediately clicked to fill my screen with 2 extra lines of blocks. Ian began working with what he had. I frantically started to line up my pairs, my fingers fumbling as I did so. I kept missing a block or two, unable to control where the cursor was landing.
Come on, Hana.
Finally, I was matching things, but Ian was already comboing. I listened as the game counted his combos. Dumbadoom doing little flips at the top of the screen. 2, 3, 4 combo, 5 combo, 6 combo. I tried to tune the voice out. It was a mistake to have added those rows in the beginning. I started trying to clear any blocks I could, regardless of whether it gave me any advantage against Ian, just to get them out of my screen.
Incoming!
Ian's blocks fell on my side of the screen. Adrenaline flooded me. As I fumbled around the bottom half, trying to get rid of rid of my tiny combos, the blocks hit the top of the screen.
No.
Then I saw it, a combo, all nice and prepared at the top of the blocks, connecting to Ian's combo wall. If I could just put those in order, I might still have a chance. But I was so nervous I couldn't get the cursor to line up properly. It was too far left, then too far right, then... Game over. I lost. I crawled off the stage. Ian accepted his medal with a polite smile, then shot me a look. He didn't need to tell me what he was thinking. He was disappointed. I didn't want to win so easily. That's what he wanted to say. I hung my head and walked out of the room, unable to bear looking the Normal Boots Club in the face. I stepped into the main room, trying very hard not to be seen by anyone I knew, but most of the people in the arcade were crowded around one corner, and consequently there was little shelter from sight to be found. Worried, I joined the crowd, pushing through to see what they were looking at. Paul, Nick, and Josh were standing aimlessly next to a fighting game arcade cabinet. Caddy, Waleed, and Jimmy were taking turns on the machine, going through the story mode, presumably to warm up. Jimmy was frowning intensely at the screen, trying to figure out some combo that was driving him insane. As I approached, I realized they were facing the Continue trio. It was a standoff. Paul, Nick, and Josh crossed to another room of the arcade, crossed not to another room of the arcade, but to the main arcade room, where a small crowd gathered around a fighting game. Are you ready to get your asses kicked?
Ha, really, dude? Us?
Was I doing Jimmy or we?
I don't know,
we,
I can't
I can't remember who did it. There's no way you can beat our teamwork. It just won't happen.
You do, Wally.
Okay. Say whatever you want about your teamwork. We're like brothers. We're telepathic.
Yeah, we'll make something blow up on you if we have to.
Caddy's eyes slid to me and he patted Waleed and Jimmy on the shoulders.
No, we won't. No, we won't. We're very civilized people here. That's a terrible way to intimidate someone.
The MC took the 6 guys' names on his clipboard, then smiled.
The tag team beat 'em up is about to start. Who will be playing first?
Nick and Waleed raised their hands. The MC gestured to the cabinet and the two assumed their positions.
To switch out, shout tag. You'll be switching out in real time. So if you make any mistakes due to shoddy communication, that's your own fault.
The 3 nodded grimly. For all we knew, the result of the tournament depended on this. Josh and Paul stretched themselves out, then assumed their strategic locations behind Nick.
3, 2, 1, start!
I had no idea why he had to shout for the match to start, because the pair simply selected their characters. But one way or another, the battle commenced. Nick and Waleed were well matched in the beginning, each taking small hits and attempting combos that the other immediately deflected. It was a tense battle, both hunched and frustratingly close to the screens. I almost couldn't make anything out.
Tag, Josh!
Nick spun with a flourish away from the machine and Josh leaped in, dealing a several hit combo on Waleed, who was unprepared for the lower targeted hits Josh was throwing. After getting half of Waleed's health was out. Wait, what? After getting half of Waleed's health was out, Jimmy raised his fists.
Tag, I'm going in. Oh, he just slid out.
Nice. He pulled Waleed out by the shoulder.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Who seemed to have forgotten that other people were even waiting to play. Jimmy and Josh went back and forth against each other, each managing to land a combo at some point, but it was slow going. Josh was clearly trying to go for environment kills, and Jimmy stayed well away from those locations, making the match somewhat of a stalemate. Josh's health lowered and lowered until it finally seemed just one hit would do him in. Then Jimmy lunged.
Tag, Paul!
Josh spun away from the machine in a graceful pirouette, and Paul leaped into action. He pummeled his fist straight into Jimmy's face and unleashed a ferocious combo that Jimmy wasn't able to extract himself from. I imagine that I actually punched him in the face.
Right.
Tag, Caddy!
Caddy jumped into the machine, pulling himself away from Paul's attacks. They were both on their last leg of life, prowling around each other like wary tigers. One miss from either of them meant the match and possibly the tournament. I had no idea how they were keeping their cool. So, Caddy, I never knew you and Ian were such close friends.
Moosey and I are not friends.
Caddy slammed his fist on the arcade cabinet, and in that moment of distraction, Paul pulled a swift quick to his ankles. Caddy crumpled like the pop balloon, and the match was won.
Paul, you did it.
I ran.
Shut up. Paul, you did it.
It's like the end of the 80s movie. I ran to hug him, only to find myself squished underneath Nick and Josh, who were hugging him as well. We formed a single four-human entity, a malformation bobbing up and down in front of the arcade cabinet.
Yes, wonderful. If you don't mind, please relocate. This is turning into a big traffic jam.
With the match called, the MC thanked the crowd and ushered everybody away from the machines. The day was free play for tournament players, but not for anybody else, and he seemed keen to get the arcade their money's worth. We peeled ourselves off of each other.
So, what do you say we go play some games?
I thought you'd never ask.
We're
Doot.
gonna play ice hockey.
Definitely. No one said anything about the fact that I lost my event. I maintained
I'm gonna
hope.
kick your ass.
In ice hockey?
Yeah.
I'd like to see you try.
Bet you know.
I don't know. Jen might be able to give me a... You could probably give me a
I've
decent...
beaten you. We used to play all the time.
You could probably give me a decent
Oh my god.
attempt. Look, we can't prove it right now, so I can say whatever I want. I would definitely beat you.
Fuck it, we're putting up ice
Yeah,
hockey.
we'll put it on. Last episode.
Please, we should.
Great
We'll do
idea.
it.
Great
We'll do
idea.
it. We're going to do it.
I'm totally gonna lose.
I know, now that you said that. No one said anything about the fact that I lost my event. I maintained hope that perhaps, somehow, we could still win without it, but I knew in my gut that it didn't matter. Whether we won or lost, I could no longer become a member of the Normal Boots Club.
Aw.
I don't know if that's true. Hana. We probably wouldn't even have noticed the MC taking the stage to announce the winner if he hadn't cleared his throat like he had pneumonia. I don't know if he's fit to be this
All right
MC, guys. He's got pneumonia. He's not fit to be MC.
Not fit.
He's definitely not fit. How can he hold up to be a full-time MC with pneumonia? When he was sure he had everybody's attention, he smiled charmingly.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this year's tournament is, unsurprisingly, the Hidden Block Club.
Boo! Boo!
I groaned, but the sound was drowned out by Hidden Block's sudden, high-pitched wailing. They piled onto the stage, taking the trophy from the MC and mosh-pitting around the poor, frightened old man. Luke grabbed the microphone.
Oh, dude, here
There it is.
Yo, man, this is how it goes to show what happens when you have faith and you believe in yourself. You achieve things you never could have dreamed of. With friendship by your side and love in your heart, anything is possible.
Is that
Luke-
how he really talks?
Nah.
It's not so hype.
That level of excitement, yeah.
He's very
Okay.
excited, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Luke lifted his hand and dropped the microphone on the floor. A group of girls nearby dove for it.
Dude.
A shrill scream floated from a group of teenage girls, but the rest of the crowd merely clapped politely. Was it just me, or was the phrasing of that sentence weird? As I watched the happiness of the Hidden Blog members, I nodded slowly. I wasn't going to be part of Normal Boots Club. That was now a statement of fact. But Paul, Nick, and Josh were still with me. Seeing my face, they all three somehow managed to sling their arms around my shoulders. Our weekend isn't done yet. No, it wasn't. Tomorrow was the day of the actual voting. The election results would be decided.
Oh, damn.
Suddenly sobered, we decided to head back to campus for a day of tense attempts at relaxation. No, one word throbbing through each of our minds. Tomorrow.
Oh, man.
Shit. Considering Asagao was such a rich school, I expected the voting process to be a little more technological. Instead, students lined up to grab paper ballots and turn them in. Ballots that were then tallied and handed to the teachers manning the voting booth. I also expected a sizable turnout, but apparently I thought wrong. The votes were tallied up in almost no time, despite Miss Shizuka and Mr. Saitama chortling at each other like childhood friends.
Chortling.
Shortly.
Chortling.
When the ballot was finally done, the result was placed in a sealed envelope and given to the standing president to read before the auditorium and the voters who stayed for the results. That's rough. What if I have to announce that I lost?
Oh.
The standing president,
No.
meaning Paul, with a grim set up to his jaw, he carefully peeled the envelope open.
Open it up, Paul.
Your new acting president for this year is... He lifted the card to his face, squinting at what it said. Me! It's me!
Oh, yeah!
Oh,
Oh, I
Hate
knew
it.
already.
It takes two to make a thing go, Paul. It takes two to make a Paul, Paul.
Paul looked up
That's
from
good.
the envelope. Yeah, we knew what to do. We knew what,
Yeah, we know
what the song was.
We've been friends long enough.
Paul. Paul looked up from the envelopes, a smile of pure disbelief lighting his face. I won a president again! It wasn't much of a formal announcement, but judging from the student reactions, Paul could be forgiven just this once. A cheer rose up from the majority of the students, though a few made faces and sulked. I ran into the stage and into Paul's arms, where he pulled me into a deep bear hug. Small popping noises went off above us, confetti sparkling
nice.
from the ceiling. Hana, couldn't have done this without you. Thank you so much for everything.
What about for everything.
His eyes softened as he held me in his arms, and I closed my eyes, waiting for our inevitable kiss. Hana, you okay? My eyes fluttered open. Paul was staring at me with concern. Is the excitement too much for you?
No. I just had something stuck in my eye.
I stepped out of his arms, heart beating rapidly. Of course not. Of course that wasn't the case. Paul viewed me platonically, and he'd always viewed me platonically. What was I expecting? Some kind of movie ending? Nope, not right now. We're doing stuff. I feel like this might be close to a major point.
I think you're
Or
right.
the end.
I think it's the end.
Yeah. As I berated myself, Josh and Nick bounded on stage.
Yeah. Hell yeah, we knew you'd win. No doubts in my mind.
Were you hyperventilating? You were hyperventilating earlier.
I just choked on my water.
The two pulled me and Paul into a giant hug.
So, Hana, you might not be part of the Normal Boots Club, but how do you feel about joining Continue? We need someone to keep us level, and you're just the gal to do it.
Tears filled my eyes, and I blinked them rapidly away.
Of course I'd love to.
Sometimes in life, you don't get exactly what you want, but that's okay, because sometimes you end up with something even better.
Ah.
Good end.
Good end.
Yeah! We did it.
Probably not a great end, though.
Oh, that was nice.
Dude, that was good.
I didn't expect it to be over so soon. Ooh.
I know.
Right?
I expected us
And here's the credits.
to do way worse. I expected Jeff to win.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, we're losing everything.
I expected bad end, honestly.
I expected
I did
Jeff to
too.
come in and be like, can we really believe that Paul is from here?
Yeah.
What even is Paul?
What even is Paul?
What
Where
even
could
is
he be?
Paul? We need to build a wall around Paul.
I think that...
Oh, they had like different writers for
yeah,
each one.
different people
That's
for the different
awesome.
ones. It looks like Kara was involved in most of them, though.
Yeah,
She just had different people help her with other
that's
ones.
really cool.
I think that maybe Paul... I'm assuming Paul was probably always oblivious, but maybe if you were doing the actual dating, like where Paul was your romantic like end,
Yeah.
that maybe I would have been a little bit better.
Yeah,
hopefully.
yeah.
Yeah, like I think we made a few bad choices in the beginning.
And that made it so that Paul was always like, no, I don't
Yeah.
like you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
cool.
interested to see how it like plays out and stuff.
Yeah, that was fun. Great job, guys. Everyone who made the game, all these names that are coming up.
Yeah.
It was really cool that you guys did this.
Yeah, dude, it was such a surprise, like, to play it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, the artwork's great. And hey, Todd did the opening video. That's cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Todd is working with Austin now.
Yeah.
Jen, you probably
I did not know that.
Yeah, great job, guys. Great job.
Good job.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably play it again now that we've played it once through.
Yeah, I'd like to see what the right Paul ending gets you.
Yeah, I'm sure
Whoa,
we can.
top backers West.
Oh, what?
Dude, maybe it was Yeezys.
Yeezys.
Damn.
Normal boots and hidden block. Hell yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna play this, but I'm gonna date Gerard.
I know you are. I know
knew
you've
you
been
were
trying to
gonna
do that
say
from
that.
the
I
beginning.
know, but I didn't want to play at the same time that we were playing it.
Uh-huh.
So I've been kind of holding out.
I think I'm going to date Satchel.
You
Yeah.
would.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to
Of
date
course
him
I
in
would.
real life too.
I am dating him in real life.
I wish.
You just don't know about it. He's my other. He's my guy version.
Oh, one of
Other.
each.
I get one
yeah.
of each, yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Guys, we hope you enjoyed this playthrough. Maybe we'll get that special ice hockey playthrough
Oh, fuck.
since we just mentioned
Yeah,
it.
literally in this episode.
Kinda gonna.
We'll see.
All right, guys. We love you. Thanks for watching.
Yeah,
Thanks for letting
bye-bye.
me say weird stuff.
You'll be
and
back.
listening to it.
You'll be back.
I don't know.
Maybe.
The internet hates me.
What are you talking
Everybody
about?
loves you. Everybody loves you because they think that you're just Paul throwing his voice.
Yeah, that's
Really?
true. Yeah.
It's true.
You're the sassy side of me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I did see that people like the sass. So it's
The
just
sass will be
it's just who I am. I don't know.
Bring the sass back.
I'm bringing sassy back.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.